Hi guys, and welcome to another video. Here we're just going to talk about the latest episode of NXT, and this episode started off with Trick Williams opening the show in this originally initially starting off kind of like a kind of a Rocky type villain, a kind of like a Clubber Lang. He was going through basically the backstage. Calling the crew out, shoving them around, eventually coming to the ring and just kind of like talking like a Clubber Lang type. I think that he was like an over and wanted one more title shot and all of this. And so this eventually led to General Manager Ava coming out to try and restore some order. It wasn't long before Ricky Saints came out, claiming that it was like a big talk, seeing as Ricky Saints had just being him, according to Trick Williams's rantings. This was kind of like he was kind of like done over, which is kind of like weird because Ricky Saints like kind of like won clean by all accounts. So yeah, it was kind of like but yeah, like I said, it was kind of like so this ended up with Ricky Saints and Trick Williams brawling. We then moved on to a speed match between Axiom and Jasper Troy to find out who was going to go on to, against Grande Americano. I was kind of like hoping that Axiom would win this match, but it just seemed like a better fit. But Jasper Troy ended up picking up a win just inside the 3-minute mark, which just set up this kind of like weird sort of matchup in my opinion. Like I say, I'm a big Axiom fan, so I don't really I didn't really like the idea of him kind of seeing him kind of get beat within like inside like 3 minutes now, but I didn't think it was kind of like necessarily I don't think the format of the speed match kind of like really doesn't justice, but yeah, we've got this sort of weird matchup now between Jasper Troy and Grande Americano. On the plus side, I will say that I did like the production value of the speed match with the changing of the lights with each passing minute. I thought that was really kind of cool. We moved on to like a backstage segment then with Sol Ruka vacating her speed title. So this basically leaves a vacant speed tournament up next week for that to see who's going to go up against Blake Monroe. We then moved on to a new NXT champion, Tatum Paxley, coming out with her Colin crew, and this was like really because the but this I kind of like this I kind of dug it kind of so we've seen a few of this on the on SmackDown, obviously with Sami Zayn. You know, when he was doing his open challenges, and then he ended up getting beat by Ilya Dragunov, and then that sort of torch has passed. And this was kind of the same sort of thing, albeit with a Wheel of Fortune type twist, where Tatum Paxley was basically saying that she wanted to introduce these open challenges as well, and she was going to bring back this spinning wheel, which fans were disappointed didn't appear at Halloween Havoc. So she was going to spin this wheel to see who was going to get the title shot. We had Izzy, for a bunch of heels were trying to like issue quite sound advice as well, where they were kind of like, you fought for years for this title, and now you just kind of like want to issue challenges out for it and risk losing it kind of like willy-nilly. Why not just like get people to earn the right to fight for this title, and stuff like this. So yeah, but Tatum Paxley, there wasn't the type of champion she wanted to be. So spinning the wheel was what she did. This ended up landing on Lola Vice. So we had that match going to be later on in this episode as well. We then have moved on to a solid match between Kendall Gray and Lash Legend. We moved then to we moved on to the match between Taveon and Miles Bourne, which again was another really solid match, really great in-ring performances, really great to watch from like a technical standpoint, which you knew that these two were always going to deliver that. It ended up with Miles Bourne kind of predictably picking up a win, but it was, just, it didn't take up too much time. I don't know how long it took, but it seemed to like fly by, but just for when it lasted, it was just a real great showcase for the technical side of wrestling. I think it was then after the match had finished, it was interrupted again by Trick Williams and Ricky Saints, who were still continuing to brawl. It had started with Trick Williams attacking Miles Bourne from behind with a chair, oddly enough, because Trick Williams was still kind of showing his mouth off about how he felt kind of like done over by Ricky Saints. Presumably, somehow this is Miles Bourne's fault, I guess. But yeah, so we had Trick Williams continuing his best like Clubber Lang impression, where he was calling Ricky Saints out, saying if he was scared then he could just say it, which again was a really like kind of irrational kind of like rambling, seeing as Ricky Saints had literally just come out at the beginning of the episode to kind of brawl with him. So again we had Ricky Saints coming out and they're continuing to brawl. I wasn't really sure where all of this was heading, but I was enjoying it, I was kind of like here for it, we had then moved on to a backstage segment between Chelsea Green and Ethan Page, where they were talking about their AAA mixed tag team. This was we had Chelsea Green mention that she had been working in London and Tokyo, and somehow this is just this summoned Joe Hendry from a trash can. Oddly enough, what he was doing in the trash can, who knows? But it was fun. It was a fun backstage segment. I always like Joe Hendry kind of like appearing up. I like the little kind of like goofy side of it. I'm all down for that. It was just a fun little backstage segment that just kind of like made me chuckle, and that was kind of like all good enough for me. We then had the match between Tatum Paxley and Lola Vice, which ended up getting interrupted by Fatal Influence. After obviously Tatum Paxley had beaten JC Jones for the title, so this was interrupted by those guys who ended up beating Tatum Paxley down. No one was coming out to make the save. we had a backstage segment from Blake Monroe, who had basically stated that her first title defense was going to be in New York. And then we moved on to our main event, which was going to be Jordan Grace versus Keelan Jordan. And this was another really, really solid match. It ended up with Keelan picking up the win by picking up a belt and hitting Jordan with it, which the referee didn't see, because we had during this match Trick Williams and Ricky Saints again coming out, continuing their brawl, so the referee was distracted by all of this. So we had, this was served the purpose of kind of like completing Keelan Jordan's kind of heel turn, and then it also kind of cemented out that there's few guarantees that you can make now, but one of the guarantees you have in life is that if Jordan Grace has a title shot at any time, you can bet your bottom dollar that she's going to lose it. That's just the way it is. So we then kind of moved on to just focusing on the continuing brawl between Trick Williams and Ricky Saints. This ended up resulting in General Manager Ava coming out to basically announce that to kind of like offer a resolution with this, where it was going to be announced that now Trick Williams and Ricky Saints were going to have another match, this being the last man standing match in a couple of weeks on NXT, which I think would put it just before Gold Rush, so that just seems a bit odd timing kind of thing, because I think like, why not just have it on Gold Rush? But obviously WWE have done this from time to time, especially kind of thinking about obviously the tag titles on SmackDown, where they've always kind of like ended up sort of having them defended on just a random episode and not kind of like on a PLE. But it makes out of that episode of it gives an additional reason to tune into that that episode of NXT as well. Anyway, so for that end, it kind of like serves a purpose, I guess. So we'll just kind of like see how that all kind of like unfolds. So that's pretty much wraps it up. This is I mean, on the whole, I thought this was a pretty solid episode of NXT, to be fair. NXT is one of those divisions that I kind of like fall in and out of kind of thing. But yeah, I enjoyed this episode of NXT, to be fair. I thought it was a pretty solid match. It seemed to kind of go by pretty briskly. This went on for like an hour and 20 now, something like that. It was so it was like all very digestible episode of NXT, but seemed to be quite sufficient content as well, so all in all, a pretty solid episode of NXT, I thought. So that pretty much wraps it up. So thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. If you like this video and you want to see more wrestling content, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, because there will always be regular wrestling content uploaded here. I've already posted my review for last week's Monday Night Raw, as well as my predictions for this weekend's Saturday night main event. Be sure to check that out. Feel free to let me know down in the comment section about what your thoughts of this episode of NXT was, and until the next time, I will see you guys on the next video. You guys take care.